Welcome to the weather forecast on CIA TV channel. Dear friends, before we get started, please support us by liking and subscribing to our channel to stay up to date with the latest weather forecasts. In today's forecast, we'll break down what you need to know about the weather that will affect the United States over the next 7 days. And we'll start with Hurricane Erin, which is currently off the coast of North Carolina. This is a major storm that continues to cause some major problems, including life-threatening rip currents, high surf, and tropical storm force winds. Additionally, we're expected to see the coldest weather of the coming week. And after Hurricane Erin, the tropics will continue to be very active. We have a high chance of several tropical storms forming over the next few days. We've also been dealing with life-threatening rip currents from southern New England all the way down to Florida. And unfortunately, that's going to continue to be a problem for the next few days. The threat of rip currents is still a real concern. But as this rip current continues to shift north and northeast, we're going to start to see at least some of the rainfall taper off. And then we're going to continue to see high waves and storm surges from Delaware all the way down to South Carolina. And unfortunately, Hurricane Erin has already caused damage to Cape Hatteras. We're talking about 15-20-foot waves coming over the dunes throughout the day today. Plus, we're expecting storm surge, which means that parts of Cape Hatteras are going to be flooded. And here's a close-up of Hurricane Erin. But we still have a pretty good center. A lot of deep convection continues to build up around Hurricane Erin, which is basically keeping it at major hurricane status. It's also moving northeast, so it's moving away from the United States right now. And right now, it's almost at its closest point to North Carolina. However, we do expect these impacts to persist throughout the day today and possibly even into tomorrow when it comes to the updraft. High surf and very high tides are expected to continue in parts of North Carolina and even surge near Virginia Beach throughout tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Now, let's talk a little more about the timing and impacts of Hurricane Erin over the next few days, starting with what's happening today. Hurricane Erin is moving away from North Carolina. We're going to continue to see tropical storm force winds, which could last at least until noon today and eventually into late tonight. These are the highest gusts we can expect today and into early tomorrow morning across the East Coast. We expect the Outer Banks to continue to see strong winds. Wind speeds are in the 60 to 75 miles per hour range. Strong gusts are expected from now until about 1 p.m. this afternoon, then into southern New England and even up the East Coast through North Carolina. We expect gusts in the 30 to 45 miles per hour range, peaking tonight into early tomorrow morning. Hundreds of people have been rescued this week. Across the area from Maine to Miami, Florida. There is a high risk of rip currents today and tomorrow will be no different. Right now, we are seeing an extremely dangerous rip current from Maine back to Miami on Friday. And a lot of these areas, including North Carolina in particular, are very dangerous out there, especially in North Carolina, where there are still a lot of evacuation orders in place due to Hurricane Erin. And some of the worst storm surge is going to happen in the next few hours. Anywhere from New Jersey back to South Carolina, where there's a massive storm surge of 1 to 3 feet expected. All the way to Long Island and also back into South Carolina, just south of Myrtle Beach. And if you're anywhere between Duck and Cape Lookout, where there's a lot of evacuation orders in place, we're expecting storm surges of 2 to 4 feet throughout the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. If you go back down to Chesapeake Bay, we're also expecting storm surges of 1 to 3 feet there, including areas like Virginia Beach. Now, across the United States, we're about to see a big change in weather patterns. And that's it. A big cold front is going to come in from Canada as we head into Sunday and Monday. If you're in the Midwest, you're definitely going to feel it on Sunday. But on Monday and Tuesday, look at the deep blues moving into the central and northern plains, back into the northeast. And even back into Texas, where we're expecting some of the coldest weather we've had all summer. We could even have some record lows for this time of year in some parts of the United States. So next week is going to be pretty cold, and that's basically going to last the entire work week. This is going to be some of the nicest weather we've seen all August. And then eventually, as we head into September, that heat could come back. But definitely enjoy it. Next week looks like it's going to be a great week for most of the country. High temperatures on Saturday. Most of Texas is in the 100s. The Midwest will be in the 70s. But by Monday and Tuesday, temperatures will be in the 60s. And the 70s from the Midwest all the way to the Northeast. If you're back on the Gulf Coast, I think you'll at least see some milder weather on Thursday. But if you're back in Florida, there's really not much in the way of cold weather. We might have a very weak cold front moving through those areas, but overall, most of the country will feel the cold east of the Rockies. Here are the lows forecast for Tuesday. And we expect most of the Midwest to dip into the 40s and 50s. There may even be some areas in the upper 30s. Beyond that, we expect severe weather to be fairly minimal over the next few days. There will only be isolated severe weather in the northern Midwest plains. As we head into early next week, we won't see much severe weather. And after Erin, the tropics will continue to be active. We have a good chance of some tropical storms forming over the next few days. Right now, it's just a little bit east of the Lesser Antilles. But we're going to be getting closer to the Leeward Islands, where Tropical Storm Fernand could potentially form, and that could eventually move toward Bermuda. So if you're in Bermuda, be prepared for a potential tropical storm. We could see the counterflow continue into next week, assuming another tropical storm system forms here, just east of the United States. The good news is that this storm is not forecast to move toward the United States right now. It's going to be heading out to sea, just like Erin. And then we'll have another area of development in the main development area. This storm will likely weaken before it gets closer to the Caribbean Sea. But it could be something to watch for in the long run. But right now, we're not expecting any development, at least near the Caribbean Sea. Of course, the higher gusts are coming over Bermuda in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. But the hurricane winds right now are around 100 to 105 miles per hour or 160 to 170 kilometers per hour, and then it's going to continue to curl south and east of Cape Cod and the island. So I'm going to zoom in there with the winds for Atlantic Canada, and then back into some of the United States. This is Erin. We're in the Caribbean. This is where it could become Tropical Storm Fernand. And then look at these two additional areas behind it. Now, this gives us a sense of where things are headed. The area that we're looking at coming toward us in the Caribbean is starting to lift to the northwest and then north because the high pressure isn't blocking it to the north. That's right, Erin is actually north, so Erin is making a path for it to lift north. But if this area develops, it could be pretty close to Bermuda by the time we get to Monday. Maybe a small tropical depression or a small tropical storm. That's a possibility. And this is the tropical wave in the middle. This storm has a good chance of bringing rain early next week. But I don't see anything developing right now, but I'm watching things very carefully because we know things go from nothing to something very quickly. And that's one of the reasons why the ocean heat content is so high. Look at these vibrant colors in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, the Southwest Atlantic. It's not just warm water. It's warm deep underground. It's pockets of heat, high ocean heat content. The point is, when something comes through here, even if it's nothing, it can actually start to develop into a system. Or if it is a named system, it can intensify quickly. We saw that when Erin picked up some heat pockets near the Northeast and the Northern Caribbean. So, as I mentioned, I don't see much development from that, like a second tropical wave, but I'm watching it as it approaches us in the Caribbean. I promise if it starts to develop or anything like that, I'll give you a heads up. I value your time, your property, your livelihood, of course. So I'll give you a heads up if we need to prepare for anything in the next few months. Right now, we're just keeping an eye on these things together. These are the actual air temperatures, the actual water temperatures. And you see this little spot here. The water has cooled a little bit north of Puerto Rico, north of Turks and Caicos, and east of the Bahamas. That's after Erin. While that's somewhat helpful at this time of year, the water is still very warm. But I'm keeping a close eye on those areas that have that heat. So let's start there. We're in the Caribbean. This is the first tropical wave that's trying to form. The second looks like it's going to hit some strong winds. Those are winds that are over our heads, that could push back some of the showers and thunderstorms that are forming. And you see, by tomorrow, it doesn't look like there's going to be much rain. We could get some showers tomorrow, with the first area, the second area not getting much rain. And then just watch the third area. But as we go into tomorrow, keep an eye out near Anguilla, Saint Martin, Saint Bart, Antigua and Barbuda for more rain. So we'll see more rain here. And then as we go into the weekend, you can see this area in Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, Puerto Rico here, the British and US Virgin Islands. All of that to the north. But as it picks up north on Sunday, we'll start to really look at 2 more tropical waves that will come into the Caribbean. But most of those waves are coming from Erin. Such a strong wind. It's hitting the water over a very large area. So here's what it looks like as it's turning. That's going to happen tomorrow. You can see it. The waves are coming in. And then it's all going to surge out into the North Atlantic. That little spot, that's going to happen on Saturday. And then we're going into Sunday and Monday. It's going to pick up near Bermuda. Those are higher waves with the other system that's developing. But you see those Atlantic tracks are still on the rougher side. And of course, the seas are very treacherous right across the North Atlantic. So this is the first tropical disturbance that's going to start moving northwest. But by tomorrow, there's a higher chance of some showers in the northeastern Caribbean. Scattered showers in some areas. Costa Rica, Panama, especially western Panama. Flooding is possible. Watch Guatemala. Some flooding will accumulate in Costa Rica, Nicaragua tomorrow. So keep an eye on the rainfall totals. Some scattered areas of rain and storms in the southeastern United States. Not as much as in the Bahamas, may or may not. And then we'll see some scattered showers that could move back into Cuba and Jamaica. But you can see as we head towards Antigua, Barbuda, some of the rain will increase tomorrow, even near Anguilla, Saint Martin and Saint Bart's as the tropical disturbance starts to turn. So we could see some spots with over 25 millimeters of rain. But not a lot. St. Lucia, Saint Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad, Tobago, Barbados. We could see some showers. We had some showers in Grenada early yesterday morning. Yeah, but not that widespread. Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela. But here are some places that will get heavier rain. Western Panama, Costa Rica, southern Nicaragua, where we'll have some spots with over 100 millimeters of rain. And then the rain is increasing again in Mexico City and then moving west. So watch out, some flooding is possible. Heading toward Beaumont, Houston, through Corpus Christi. Some additional rain also in New Orleans, then moving back to the coastal areas of Mississippi, Alabama, the southeast, where we could see about 2 to 4 inches of rain over the next couple of days. We'll see how these additional tropical waves play out as they start to move into the Caribbean. 40% chance of rain today in Guyana and 40% chance of rain over the next couple of days in Cherna. 30% chance of rain as we move through Cuba. 70% chance of rain in Costa Rica and Panama. 50% chance of rain as we move through Nicaragua, Honduras. Inland areas, western areas. the chances of rain are higher. Watching for the flood threat. Guatemala and El Salvador have shown you some of that rain. In Mexico City, the chance of rain is increasing. We're going to be on the lookout for flooding. Meanwhile, Cape, Merida, toward Cancun, Casmo, the chance of rain remains low. The chance of rain is 40 to 50%. North Colombia still has a 50% chance of rain in northern Venezuela. And in Bermuda, we could see about a 50% chance of rain tomorrow with Hurricane Erin to the north. But we'll be watching Sunday and Monday to see if that develops into a tropical storm. So there's a lot to watch, and we'll be watching that new development as we continue to track the tropical wave offshore over the next few days. We will continuously update the storm situation in the next news. Please subscribe to the channel to follow. Thank you for watching the news on CIA TV channel.